בקרוב תזרח השמש, נדע ימים יפים מאלה, הלב נלחם בדאגות. כולם יחזרו הביתה, נחכה להם למטה, הלוואי נדע בשורות טובות. כי עם הנצח לעולם לא מפחד, אפילו כשקשה לראות. כולם ביחד, אף אחד פה לא בודד, שישרפו המלחמות. עם ישראל חי, אם לא נשכח תמיד להיות מאוחדים. עם ישראל חי, בעליות בירידות, גם בשעות הכי קשות. הקדוש ברוך הוא שומר עלינו, אז מי יכול עלינו? כי אין לנו עוד מדינה. תעשה שלום בינינו, שמור על ילדינו, כי לא אבדה האמונה. עם ישראל, עם ישראל חי. עם ישראל חי. אור ארצי נחלתנו, לא תיפול כעת רוחנו, מסביב ברזל של חרבות. ויונה תפרוס כנפיים, התקווה בת שנות 2000, עוד נצא לשיר ברחובות. כי עם הנצח לעולם לא מפחד, אפילו כשקשה לראות. כולם ביחד, אף אחד פה לא בודד, שישרפו המלחמות. עם ישראל חי, אם לא נשכח תמיד להיות מאוחדים. עם ישראל חי, בעליות בירידות, גם בשעות הכי קשות. הקדוש ברוך הוא שומר עלינו, אז מי יכול עלינו? כי אין לנו עוד מדינה. תעשה שלום בינינו, שמור על ילדינו, כי לא אבדה האמונה. הקדוש ברוך הוא שומר עלינו, אז מי יכול עלינו? כי אין לנו עוד מדינה. תעשה שלום בינינו, שמור על ילדינו, כי לא אבדה האמונה. עם ישראל, עם ישראל חי. כי עם ישראל חי.
Shalom, shalom, folks. How you guys are doing today? Hope you guys are enjoying. Hopefully, I think so. Yes. All right, guys. I couldn't able to see you last week because I was a little bit busy, and today I planned. Okay, let me take a visit today with you guys. So, here I am, and I'm happy to be with you guys today. And I hope you guys are doing well. Shabbat shalom. And I think your Shabbat is going very well. And it's kind of a today warm weather, no rain, nothing, but weather was a little bit warm here. I hope you had a wonderful weather today. So without further ado, last week also we didn't talk anything. We didn't talk anything. So today we're going to talk some interesting subject. We're still on the Jesus, is he the Messiah or not? That's what topic right from the beginning we're dealing. But today also we're going to talk about an interesting chapter from Matthew and Luke. How this has been dealt. So the title for today is the Jesus genealogy is a controversial. Yes, we need to go through this one absolutely, because you're going to study a lot. Most of you already knew. And as I said, that this is I'm focusing mainly on my community people back home in India. Hopefully, they listen this, they watch this, they learn this, and I hope this will benefit for their biblical studies. So let's unpack what we have for today about the Jesus genealogy. If you think that Matthew and Luke, these are the two chapters, two books which talks about Jesus genealogy. No other gospel, not neither Mark or not John, no one talks about, or either Apostle Paul's. He never even touches those things. His writings nowhere it has been talked except these two chapters. And this, if you see the genealogy, is completely totally contradicting each other. When you talk, you might have heard already about these chapters, Luke 3 and Matthew chapter 1. uh, One chapter talks about the genealogy of Jesus' father, earthly father Joseph, and the other chapter is talking about genealogy through Mary. So Matthew talks about genealogy through Joseph, and Luke talks about genealogy through Mary, the Mary the mother, right? So you might have already heard about these things before, but how could it be possibly contradicting? There are so many things we need to take into considerations in this one. We will see how it goes to how we're going to study today. So Matthew talks about Joseph, descendant of King David and Solomon. Okay, these genealogies are totally irrelevant, but still, then let's unpack this one. Okay, Abraham to David, it's 14th generation, and the 15th generation is King Solomon. Matthew traces up to King Solomon, but King David had many other children. We heard almost like 400 children. No, for David, and anyone could become Messiah at any time. There is no problem at all. It talks about very clearly in after David, his son who came to the reign, like in First Chronicles 22 9 10, and Samuel, Second Samuel, you can see chapter 12 verses 16, and also in Chronicles, First Chronicles, you can see on chapter 17, which talks about clearly about King Solomon. So Matthew Gospel has to do only with Solomon or up to Solomon, not with any of David's children or David. So he goes up to the Solomon, or he never touches anybody back in David's children. But the genealogy, what it talks about being a Messiah, he should be coming from the genealogy of David, right? So there are so many other children also. But where else? If you talk about Luke, he goes up to Adam, and he talks about the genealogy starts from Nathan, son of David. That's the genealogy which has been given, by Luke, the author, whoever it is, whoever wrote the book of Luke, right? But this violates the Psalms chapter 89, 28 to 38, because you should go the son of, the David. It's not the half brother of Solomon. Nathan is half brother of Solomon. So there is a contradiction already in the genealogy that what Luke talks about this. Okay, um, and also these are the genealogy of Joseph, not even not Jesus genealogy. These are the genealogy we are talking here only about this Joseph. So why they would want to prove these things? Matthew, the author of book of Matthew and the author of book of Luke, they're trying to prove that a Messiah should come through the lineage or genealogy from David. That's why they wanted to prove that Joseph was from the genealogy of David. That's why they were writing all these things from Matthew chapter 1 and also Luke chapter 3. So during the Jesus' life, no one knew who he was. Disciples were also didn't know who he was, and Jesus himself also asking them what people tell about me, what people talk about me, right? So not many people knew at the time when Jesus was living. No, not many people knew. I mean, no one knew, not even many people. No one knew who he was, from where he came. I mean, like who was not many. I mean, people do not know about the backgrounds of Jesus at the time in during the first century. That was the scenario. Uh, Jesus asks disciples what people say about him. Jesus didn't declare himself also. Also, what is a sign according to the chapter of in Isaiah 7 or 9 or 10? What is a sign means? It's sign a child will be born. So the sign is the birth of a sign, right? A baby. Sign is the baby. It's not that sign is Jesus himself. Jesus will be born. Sign is a baby will be born. And then that is the Messiah. So sign is the baby that it is not God himself. Sign will tell you to do something else. That sign will tell you to do something. It's like a signboard. The signboard is what you will see. There are a lot of billboards. They are all signboards. The sign tells you certain things. It could be a sign or billboard for a detergent or a soap or any milk or oil or anything. That's a signboard, but the signboard itself not the material. It tells you to do something else. That's called sign. So the baby is a sign. But whatever it is different. But the Christianity believes baby itself sign and the material. That's the God himself in the sign. But sign is just a baby. Think these are all things you should think when you study any Bible material. So these are the genealogy of Jesus, Joseph, not Jesus. During, okay, let's talk about some more this thing, okay? Matthew chapter 1, 16, and Luke chapter 3, 23. I think shall we go and read, or is it going to be, if you want to read it, back home, you can read it all yourself. So it talks about the son of Joseph. If you see, let's go and take and read maybe at least one thing, so that you will be seeing what it is. So, what I'm trying to say. So we all knew before what I was talking. Okay, we go to Luke. Let's go to third chapter and let's see the verses. I said that Luke chapter 3, verse 23. So, and Jesus himself began to be about 30 years of age, being the son of Joseph, which was the son of Heli, which was the son of Matat, which was the son of Levi, which was the son of Malachi, which was the son of Jenna, which was the son of Joseph. If you see, where is a Mary listed in? Where is a Mary listed in Luke? People say that it is a genealogy of Mary. Where is a Mary listed in here? It talks about Joseph himself in Luke chapter 3:23. The same thing it was talked about in Matthew, but in Matthew, what it tells is the way that Matthew was defined is like it's the father of, Matthew talks about the father of this, father of him, father of the different person. So it talks about the father of this, and here it's always in Luke it's a son of son of son of. So this is only talks about the Joseph genealogy, not Mary's genealogy or Jesus, Jesus' genealogy. It's purely talking about Joseph genealogy. During the first century, what they used to do, they had the adoption theory. if a king could be adopted or somebody, they had the adoption theory at the time. They thought, like, in Mark chapter, Jesus was going, and then John came through on the way, and he gave him the baptism, and is adopting through the baptism as a God's child. It's kind of a belief system. So in the first century, adoption was, known already. So Jesus was a human being, and he was adopted by God by Himself. For certain from certain day onwards. So that looks, but where else Christianity never accepted this one. If anyone come with that idea, if anyone talks about these ideas in the Christian gatherings or anything during the first century, they were called a heretic and they were chased out of the community. So it is that Christianity, it believed that the son, the baby himself or itself is Jesus and is the Son of God. So they did not believe that God adopted the Son as, for him, but they believed God Himself is the Son. So that's how the first century, the Christianity people are thinking about that. But actually, in the first century, there was an idea or concept of adopting or adoption. All right, let's see. There is no Mary's name is mentioned in Luke 3:23. In Luke 3:31, Nathan name was mentioned, but Nathan was the half brother of Solomon. Solomon should be, he's the son of David, not Nathan, because God forgave the bloodline of Jeconiah. There are so many confusions coming there, because people say, oh, you know what, God lifted the curse line of Jeconiah or everything. But if you go and read the book of, take Jeremiah 22 verse 30 and 24, says that God plugged, Jeconiah means, and especially in the verse 30, it says that the person will not sit on the throne of Judah. Nehemiah 12:1, also the same thing. Haggai 1 to 1:14 says that Zerubbabel was a governor of Judah, not the king of Judah. And the second year of ruling of Darius, he was only a governor, not the king. So God cursed the group of Jeconiah, and He did not lift it up. But people say that because why? Because they are debating on the genealogy of Joseph through the David. And folks, let's forget about all these things. Forget about this one. Think this logically. Two authors coming in different time periods. This is all coming in after the end of this one. Hold a second, guys. திருப்பி கூப்பிடுறேன், ஒன் நான் மெசேஜ் கொடுத்துருக்கேன். Hello. So, what happens? Think about this one. Two genealogies, which is not correct exactly. I told you, because this one talks about only, about the Joseph, not son. And there are so many, problems in this genealogy also. And if you take about that one, because one goes up to Solomon, and the one goes up to Adam, but it still picks up Nathan. Nathan was not the direct son; he's the half brother of Solomon. Solomon was the son that, think about these controversies. A Messiah should be born through the Davidic lineage. That's what the Messiah is defined. But here they call as Jesus is a high priest and also the king, the Messiah. If you are supposed to be born as an high priest, if you are supposed to be an high priest, you have to born through the lineage of Aaron. So if you're given birth to, coming through the lineage of Aaron, and at the same time, the same moment, you cannot be, coming through the lineage of David also. No way possible it can happen. But we see that one, Jesus was described both as a high priest and also king, because Jesus possesses both, and He is God. But it is very clearly said that if a high priest is there, he should be coming from the lineage of Aaron. And if it is a son of God, it's a Messiah, should be born through the lineage of David. Let's forget about all these things. Think logically. If Matthew believes and if Luke believes, both genealogies are fantastically correct and it is working out. Now we have proved that Jesus is the Messiah. Through genealogy, it is proven, right? Then why there is birth of Jesus through the Holy Spirit? What is necessary? No need to be born through the Holy Spirit because it is already proven, right? According to the Bible, according to the Word, according to the New Testament, Matthew chapter 1 and Luke 3:23, both authors are trying to prove that Jesus has a lineage or genealogy from David, so he's the Messiah, or he was the Messiah at the time. So they were proving it by writing all these generation listings, all right? If they are proving it, what is the necessity of Jesus to be born as in through the Holy Spirit? He could easily be born as a human being and he can be easily be converted. He can be easily blessed, become an adaptation process or anything, he can become a God, right? So why did there is no if it is proven. So it is really it's totally looks like that the authors of these books, you know, they changed their writings according to the time period, what happened at the time at the beginning that what happened during the Matthew time. So they had to write this son narrative, and they told the story in that one. But the first book written at the time was Mark as a gospel. So Mark didn't write any of this account. He didn't write totally all these things. Whereas Matthew came, when he came after 20 years, then he thought that it should be written because it is necessary to record this in his books, because most of the Greek gods and Greek goddesses all had the same type of stories. Most of them had the same type of stories. Most of them were born to angels and born to somebody, and then they were all, they're living as a god and died and also came reincarnated. This all the belief system which came from the Greek god and Greek goddesses. If you want to go and read the Greek gods, and you will read all these things, Caesar, Zeus, or Hercules, just go and read it and you will find, and what I'm telling is right or wrong. So my question to them is, why would it has to be through Holy Spirit when the book is already proving he was the Messiah through the genealogy? Then very well he could have given birth as a human being. There's no need for Jesus to be born through the Holy Spirit, right? So think about this, folks. Genealogy subject in both ways. In those days, it's always like every gospel was written after the destruction of temple. So anything after the destruction of temple is in it. Even if you say any prophecy or anything, it cannot be true because it's all written after the destruction. So any prophecy which is told, which has been told in the New Testament, would never be true because it was written after the destruction of the temple. So, folks, understand very clearly, genealogies are not correct, and Matthew or Luke, they are not correct. Even they claim Luke genealogy as Mary's genealogy. No, the book says, Mark 3:23, the son of Joseph. So Joseph's genealogy. So folks, think about this, folks. I'm stopping it today because just I want to give you a small tip regarding this genealogy, and you should know about this one. Go and read about this one. Learn this one. Days are getting near. You will not be hearing any more messages hereafter. In the sense, you will not be hearing any more things like this. It's a time for you to take it in your mind and think, am I doing the right thing? Am I doing the correct thing? Am I worshiping the correct God, the right God? What I'm doing here? So Think, folks, think. I'm giving you all the evidences why Judaism is the right way to go. I'm not asking you to join the Judaism. It's so easy, it's so tough to join there, and they won't even recognize you even if you join, because there's a lot of process, procedure which goes in that one. But at least you should know whom you were worshipping, whom you are, really truly worshiping, whom you have chosen as your God, when there is a real true God is existing. So you should not be also doing the other things. It would be counted as idol worship. Other than any God other than Yahweh, if you're worshiping, it would be considered as the idol worshiping. So that's why I'm warning you. So genealogies are not correct. What they wrote is not right. So that is in that way also Jesus did not prove he was the Messiah. So folks, remember this one, and think about this one and take it to your mind. I will come back and see you guys next time with a good topic, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Shabbat Shalom, Shavua. May God bless you. God be with you. Take care, guys.
אדון עולם אשר מלך בטרם כל יציר נברא ועת נעשה בחפצו כל אזי מלך שמו נקרא ואחרי ככלות הכל לבדו ימלוך נורא והוא היה והוא הווה והוא יהיה בתפארה אדון עולם אשר מלך בטרם כל יציר נברא לעת נשא בחפץ הכל אזי מלך שמו נקרא ואחרי ככלות הכל לבדו ימלוך נורא והוא היה והוא הווה והוא יהיה בתפארה אדון עולם אשר מלך בטרם כל יציר נברא לעת נשא בחפץ הכל אזי מלך שמו נקרא ואחרי ככלות הכל לבדו ימלוך נורא והוא היה והוא הווה בתפארה והוא הווה והוא יהיה בתפארה אדון עולם אשר מלך בטרם כל יציר נברא לעת נשא בחפצו כל אזי מלך שמו נקרא ואחרי ככלות הכל לבדו ימלוך נורא והוא היה והוא הווה והוא יהיה בתפארה אדון עולם אשר מלך בטרם כל יציר נברא לעת נשא בחפץ הכל אזי מלך שמו נקרא ואחרי ככלות הכל לבדו ימלוך נורא והוא היה והוא הווה והוא יהיה בתפארה אדון עולם אשר מלך בטרם כל יציר נברא לעת נשא בחפץ הכל אזי מלך שמו נקרא ואחרי ככלות הכל לבדו ימלוך נורא והוא היה והוא הווה בתפארה והוא הווה והוא יהיה בתפארה